Hello Aries, welcome to a timeless justice for Aries reading where we discuss the topic of justice. However, the energies on this channel, which belongs to the energies of Sekhmet, would like to have the conversation via me, 7th, the interpreter. Bear in mind that you have tapped into a collective reading that I am holding at this time. This is not a personal one-to-one connection that you and I actually set time for. So bear in mind that utilizing your discernment is necessary to take the bits and pieces that resonate with you and leave anything behind with me that may not have. Again, bear in mind that the conversation of justice is, however, Sekhmet would like to have the conversation, or at least the energies or the messages to be interpreted. I, 7th, am the interpreter, and I will do so in the highest form of vibrational honor bestowed upon me. Whatever brings you here is in true form. However, you are affiliated to being Aries and or the latter. However, bear in mind that feminine and masculine energies are non-gender specific. Again, I am 7th, aka Master 7th, that reads these energies for you. As already mentioned, feminine and masculine energies are non-gender specific. However, femininity both encapsulates femininity and masculinity. Masculinity as well has masculinity and femininity. I am a master healer that provides remote wellness alignments and tarot intuitive insights, such as this. And bear in mind that the description box below will have plenty of links on also how to gain access to my sister channel of Bastet and or travel the content between the two. You'll also find access to my website that you can utilize to find out more information as to who I am as 7th and book anything that I have made available for you. All right, justice for Aries. In a situation that was out of your control, but you were a contender of it, you feel like you are winning. However, there's a falsehood to this. You are, however, just learning a lesson. You are propelling yourself without you even knowing, become bigger and grander and massive. And you do see the trajectory of the purpose in more ways than one. If you can define it and see clarity and like a logistical approach to certain things, that's where maybe some of the struggle is. However, you have a better egotistical understanding when there's transactional aspects of it. You know, when there is a cause and effect, when there's a profit, when there's an investment, something coming back to you that you had set an intention toward. And some of that, to kind of feed your curiosity a bit more, is money orientated. Money can get your attention real quick. And however you can manipulate a situation for the benefit of money being in your pocket is how you'll feel that you are in control of the situation. And that's part of the falsehood, because money is, in some degree, to some people, the root of all evil. There are some levels of justifiable truth to that. Because of just the ebbs and flows that it can mean to have money or to be in a like a lesser stance than not as fortunate as others. So some people also manipulate, they market one thing for any reason whatsoever just to be able to fill and line their pockets. So that's where some of the, subtle character aspects of who you are, maybe your leadership position is forcing you to also kind of be part of that dialogue. Whether you are, in marketing, for example, and, you have to take your bits and cues in order to pitch a certain something in order for it to take off and to feed the masses, to get their attention, to get their transaction. And there's a charm to this, right? There's a charm to be able to sell something. It's a charm to assume the sale as well. When it comes to relationships, something that is a bit more not as exact when it comes to the cause and effect is a bit harder for you to find a security in. And so some of that in the personal life is tumultuous in finding a sense of belonging to for the majority of you. So the way that you can handle this is for you to tell yourself, let me get the most out of this situation. And for some of you, it's putting someone else in a position that you're taking their money. Taking their money doesn't have to be literal money, but it is taking materialism. And once you take that materialism, it's that specific thing or those specific transaction that have more depletion energy to it than sustainability and profit margins. And that's through all fields of interest, whether that's career, whether that's relationship, whether that's even a spiritual journey. Because some of you do feel disconnected. You're waiting for some sort of deliverance. Whether that's even like religion says this, and that's the thing. You're having an emotional outlook on something, and that is creating a certain type of standard. And something that is mysterious cannot be finite. Let's put it that way. How everything is in infinitum. You're asked to look at the finer things in life. Some of you ought to remember that the devil does live in details. So what that can mean is if you're not aware of certain of the transactions that you do, you will impose a vortex of emotions that you're not really sure are either swinging for your favor or against you. And that's where the problem could really linger, because it's lingering. You're not sure what to do with it. You're not really sure what the exact emotion is. It's foreign maybe, but the devil in the details is also to imply that, however someone comes into marketing a profit, is it based off of a lie? Is it based off of contingency to evoke an emotion in order to just get the money? And is there a chance that you need to refund? Is it that the client needs to refund their transaction with you? And there's a sense of security you do want to fix if you've been a bit manipulative in the process. Whether that's even the biggest pursuit that you want to aim towards getting out of being somebody else's, like working for someone else, being your own boss, it would be your pursuit. But as long as you are like taking the rules and ownership of someone else, you have like a difficult inner dialogue within yourself. And the best way I can bring mercy to how you can become more aware to this tug of war that's potential here, or this alleged tug of war, is to analyze the depravity of your emotions within certain things, even if it's like a monetary transaction. Like, is a product that you bought a bit broken? That's a symbolism. Is it missing a part? You have to refund. Did you get a good positive review? Like, are you selling a legitimate product? Because that, with all the apps now, the amount of shit that people can buy at a click of a fucking button is more or less even a tap. It's not even a button anymore. Like a scan even, or even like a look. Like a look almost, it is like a transaction, right? With the fucking new glasses that are out there. So there's so many things that you can do in an instant way that people also forget that the illegitimate wisdom or curiosity or the unknowing before a transaction bleeds through the whole entire transaction. So it is to assume that some variables are still remaining unknown just because you explored something. And that is to be taken seriously, because ether, what it means to be an advocate for this, there is no such sense of time, past, present, and future can bleed throughout this reading, is that the future is transparent. Meaning, whatever you think could be hidden under the skin and kept there and not exploited will be exploited. There is no ability to remain in the closet of secrecy while getting outside of that closet and living a double life that contradicts where you're coming from. And that has to be exploited, and that will be exploited, already has been exploited. It is a massive sea of cognitive dissonance to get that transparency on a whole collective average of an agenda of congruency for people to understand, oh, okay, I gotta act right. And that's part of the minor seed that has been planted years ago, collective global alert of 2020. And that seed has already been planted. The seed is still sprouting, it's still fertilizing, it's still trying to figure out its terroir and its future self, and is in darkness. Like, there are so many things that are still very much the same just because you've changed since the timeline of 2020. There are a lot of things that are still the same. To assume that just because you changed, that it changed too, is silly, and vice versa. So there's a sea of cognitive dissonance that is bleeding through all walls, all through the skins, all through the transactions of relationship, money, home, things, the relationship of self, the reflection of ourselves, the sound of us, our feedback we give to people. That's all cognitive dissonance. Existential crisis for a lot of people, cognitive dissonance. Like, absolutely. It's not cognitive dissonance if it wouldn't be that. It wouldn't be cognitive dissonance if it doesn't deliver that. A sea of cognitive dissonance. Yeah. We have the Eight of Swords, the sea of cognitive dissonance. To re-remember where everything comes from, the judgment is here. So however you fantasize something to be of standard or to be a harvesting of truths is still based on a lie, according to the denominations of this reading. So however you assume to have a feeling, and because of that security of feeling, something must turn out that way, I think the biggest lesson here is that the intuition is going to have a big wake-up call. And that is the guttural aspect for you, the human, to understand not only your responsibility, your role, your dignity, accountability, and then take it from there. That being said, I'm wishing you a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are in the ether of this time and space, and may you keep flowing, growing, and glowing. Take